Hmm? Ah!
You're listening to the Run for Your Lives podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Daphne.
And I'm Pake.
And this is the Run for Your Lives podcast.
This episode, we are talking about the science fiction horror film The Blob, directed by Chuck Russell and released August 5th, 1988. And this specific movie was brought to us, came through from the mind, or the idea, at least to cover it, came from the idea of our special guest this week, which I am super excited to have here. You may know him from the Dead Meat YouTube channel. Please welcome Zoran Gvojic to the podcast.
Hey, that's me. And I was so confused because you're saying comes from the mind of. I'm like, I didn't make this movie. I wish that I had.
Wait, you're not the creator from back
way
in
more credit. I am not
shit.
Chuck Russell or Frank Darabont. I am no Tony Gardner. I didn't do the effects. No, this is. I am just a big fan, and you gave me a long list of movies, and I said, this is one that I like to watch. I'm going to watch it again.
All right.
Good. Well, man, thanks for coming on. It's been kind of a long time-ish coming since we hung out in New Mexico months ago.
Yes, randomly at the Tremors Fest where we met.
Yeah.
It was a glorious time. I love
it.
Tremors
Was so
Fest,
much fun.
I hope there's another one.
Yes,
There's
me
another
too.
one.
We had a blast.
Yeah.
I actually, because of you and Tremor stuff, I was inspired. I'm not going to wear it today because that'd be a little too much. But I was inspired to buy something and get up. Nah, obviously I don't need those jeans. But
Yeah, good. No pants.
no pants.
That's what
But
I like.
did buy this online.
Oh,
because I was thinking
of
of
course.
you and coming on this week. I love Bixby t-shirt. Bixby!
Who doesn't love Bixby?
yeah.
Bixby! It's the best.
Oh,
I've made it
boy.
a thing. It's not even creator of Tremors, S.S. Wilson's like, you made it a thing. We
know.
just picked the name. It's not anything special.
It's great. Here's what people can try is like on like for gifts. Like if you use like if you have an iPhone, at least I know for me, the GIF little add-on for Messenger and messages. If you just type in Bixby or even type in Zoran, like you will just get bombarded with gifs of you with that shirt going Bixby. So it's great.
I've had a few people like message me being like, is Zoran a GIF now? What is this? Like I just like put excited and something in there and it just like suddenly this guy goes like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gifable. I'm very honored. I mean, that's all the fame I need. I'm a gift that people respond with their emotions to. So I'm good.
Works. You've made it. It's the peak.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit of The Blob. I realize I did not do the little synopsis in our document, but that's okay because I just cheat and use IMDb anyway, so I'll pull that up. But yeah, as we do usually, we'll talk, break down the movie, talk characters and arcs and themes and stuff like that. But when we have a guest, I like to keep things a little more organized. We have our top 3 lists, and those 3 points can be anything from certain characters, certain themes, certain arcs, visual effects, whatever it is. The 3 things you want to talk about the most in this movie. Sometimes I talk on and on and on about those things, like I'm doing right now. And
Get on with it.
yes. So
Pake
with
likes
that,
to talk.
yeah,
He likes
we
to
will
talk.
start our conversation in a second. But of course, Daphne will bring some production notes and stuff to get us set, and then we will kick this conversation off.
Well, maybe I should have you do the production notes this time since you're so ready to talk. Instead, I'll do it.
You got to
So-
say something sometime. It can't be just me.
I know. So it was filmed in Abbeville, Louisiana. It's a remake of the 1958 film of the same name. Screenplay was written or co-written by Chuck Russell, and a very, very familiar name to those of us who love The Walking Dead, Frank Darabont. The budget was $10 million. However, it only grossed about $8.2 million at the box office.
Boo! Boo!
Yeah, it's
I know it's because
disappointing.
it released at the end of the summer with
Yeah.
a bunch of other blockbuster movies and things, so it probably didn't get a fair shake, but I love it.
So unfortunate because I think there's so many movies that suffer the same fate.
Yeah.
So it was
Like
95.
UHF, Weird Al's UHF.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
supposed to be
Oh
on
my
track to be the
God.
biggest movie of the summer, bigger than any other movie. Big failure. They're like, we're gonna make this our summer blockbuster. Like, really? UHF? All right.
Yeah, I
Shoot
don't
for
know
the
about that
stars.
decision. So the Blob was 95 minutes long. Pake, bring us a synopsis, please.
All right. Brought to you through IMDb. A deadly entity from space crash lands near a small town and begins consuming everyone in its path. Panic ensues as shady government scientists try to contain the horrific creature.
Is that from the original synopsis or the remake synopsis?
That's
the
the. I
same
mean, it could be either
synopsis.
way. Yes, exactly.
It's the same one.
The same
Yeah.
one.
One has weirder, fluffier hair from one of its main characters
Yeah.
than the original.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right. Well, let's get in with this conversation, and we're going to kick off this first point to our special guest this week, Zoran. What do you want to start with?
What do I want to start with?
Mhm.
I mean, let's just get into. I mean, it's the effects, like 100%, right?
Oh,
That
yeah.
is this movie has so. I was watching it again, and I'm just like, every one of these scenes is just another surprising effect or death or
Mhm.
something that's sometimes like I don't even know how they did some of the things that they did, and I'm trying to like, was that a miniature? Was that an actual like full size thing? Like, how did they do all of these? So yeah, I mean the effects were there's a big effects team, but I know Tony Gardner,
Mm-hmm.
who I know his lovely daughter Kira, who just recently did a documentary called Living with Chucky that is so good, all about the Chucky movies and the animatronic work and how that has influenced her life and everything. And yeah, Tony's done so many things, and this was a movie that he was just supposed to help on. Like, he was just supposed to be like part of the team, and then I can't remember his name. It's Lyle Conway, I think, was supposed to be like in charge of everything, and then he left, and he basically was like, Tony, you're in charge of the 33-person crew. Go make movies.
How about it?
Okay, sure. And my God, did he and the whole team, everyone involved with that, kick ass in this thing.
Yeah, it's you might be surprised. I don't know, Daphne's used to this. This is the first time I've watched this movie.
What?
I'm really bad about like classic like 80s like horror movies. Just have been on my list and I just don't get around to them because time. So this podcast has been really good for me to go back and watch all the things that I really should have seen. And yeah, I agree. As I'm watching this, every death scene, everything, I'm like, oh my God, that was the practical effects and the way that they pull these things off. Like you said, some of them I'm like, I don't even know how you do that. And then I'm just blown away. Like the phone booth scene. I was like, that was just fun. Both parts of that. And yeah, to where I was like, even went on YouTube and I was looking, I was like, did they ever do a kill count of this? And I couldn't find one. So if there's
no, there is no kill
get
count
on
of
it,
this.
man.
Well, it's on my. I have a big list of movies
Sure, yeah.
for James.
Yeah.
But after recently taking over the channel and the Critters kill counts not doing great, but it's still love doing them. That James is coming back and doing all of his stuff, and he's got a giant list of movies that he wants to do. So he's programmed out the whole year. But the Blob is highly up there on my thing. The only issue is if I do the Blob, I have to do the original as well as the 70s Beware the Blob, and I think those are the only 3 Blob movies as far as I know.
All right.
So I'd have to do 3 movies. So if I say I want to do the Blob, he's like, well, that means you got to do 3 of them, and I'll take over the channel again, and then the comments will get angry. From the people that enjoy shouting big
The pants
things.
guy's back.
I'm not the original guy, and if people come back to the channel and go, who is this guy doing so many sketches and costume changes and all of those things there? I mean, my kill counts are very, very different than James's, and we're all different levels. He's a lot cooler than me. I've never said that I'm the cool guy. I am the passionate, fun uncle of Dead Meat that just is there to babysit the kids, and we're just gonna have a good time and have a lot of jokes.
Yeah, and we love it when you do. That's what we
Oh,
love.
thank you. I really appreciate that. I do.
Yeah.
Yes. So the effect. What more do you want me to say about the effect? I can say more things about effects, or just
Say
pick
all
some of
you
my favorite.
want. Like I said, I have.
things, and
I have a million notes, so
I
take some
did
of mine
look up-
from me.
Okay.
Yes.
I looked up a few of the things of like how they did it. As apparently they built what they called like the quilt for the blob, and it was like a silk, kind of like these pockets that they would fill with methyl cellulose, like a food thickening kind of agent.
Like you'd
in
put
these
in
pockets.
gravy. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
something like what you'd put in gravy, like at Thanksgiving, or if you want to thicken whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's basically these sacks and things like that then they would have various sizes and things. So like with the phone booth, it was just like they just draped that stuff, covered it in slime, and it would just fall down the sides of this thing in the background. Or they even had it large enough that people would puppeteer it underneath. Like they'd actually have like someone underneath the thing undulating. And I think there's another effects artist, Nick Benson, I believe. I was looking at an interview with him that he was saying that it was him and another guy that were doing the theater scene, like where the blob's coming down the seats and the seats are getting crushed and everything. He's like, the seats are about a foot tall. And it's just two of us under this thing, just like crushing these fake seats and everything. And I look at that shot, I'm like, that was a miniature. Wow, well done. I don't know.
Yeah.
God, so good. And the death of Paul, the big famous death of Paul, where the blob falls on him and then he's doing like the reaching, scream. Oh! That's like the actual actor in this like fiberglass like kind of thing. You kind of see it around his arm. Like whenever I looked at it, it always seemed like there was this nice like perfect hole for his arm to like come out of the blob. But then it's his actual face that they're like pulling quilt stuff over. So it's just like, it's like pulling up his nose and everything. And the actor said apparently it was like, yeah, it felt like suffocating. But we did it. And it looks, it looks horrifying. It is an image that sticks with you. It's like on the cover. It's really, really terrifying.
For sure.
Yeah, I thought that the sheriff at the phone booth, like his floating head, was even creepier.
It's got just like a drifting eye.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the absolute perfect setup for that too, because she's on the phone being like, get me the sheriff. And then she's just so nonchalantly like, the sheriff went to the diner.
Boom. There he is.
Yeah, he did. He went to the diner.
Yeah.
Which was so sad because he was about to go on that date with her.
I know.
And
I had a thought. That does not seem like the kind of town that has many places for them to go at 11 p.m. when that closes. Like she seems to have the latest shift in that town. Where are they going to go on this date?
He was getting laid. It was a booty call. That is when I get off at 11, I really get off at 11:30.
Ah, yes.
There you go. Foreplay and travel times and things of that nature.
No, that was definitely a small town. There was nothing really going on other than what was happening in that movie theater. So
There's that sheriff, Jeff DeMunn, our beloved Jeff DeMunn, Dale Horvath from The Walking Dead. And then I was like, oh yeah, Frank Darabont. Of course that.
He's
sense.
in everything. Frank Darabont is. It's just like
attached
Frank
to
Darabont. I think Jeffrey DeMunn is just excited anytime he reads in the trades that Frank Darabont's making a new movie. I got a job again, honey.
Knowing he was in the movie, I didn't even recognize him the first time he popped up because he's so much younger. I was like, it took till like he was like pulled up and like in the car and was talking to Brian. I was like,
until he was a melting face. Then I understood. Like when his jaw was coming off, I'm like, oh yeah, the guy from Billions. Yeah, that guy. That he's been ruined for me. I did a parody of The Walking Dead called Big Head Walking Dead, and my friend Tom Bambera played the Dale character in that. And every time you had him improvise or cut or anything, he just kept saying, I was in the Majestic. Like this was This was his line as that character. He just always wanted to fit in. I was in the Majestic. I'm like, yes, I get it. That movie was terrible. No. But no, it's been ruined that anytime I see him, I immediately have my friend Tom in my head going, I was in the Majestic. Oh boy.
Bits. We love bits. Bits are great.
We got them. We got all the bits. But yeah, I mean, the cast in this is really, really good too. I mean, I say the characters, everything, they make some really likable, simple characters that you actually feel bad for seeing them die. Aside from, date rapey guy in the
Oh my God.
in the that guy.
You know what? He got his
comeuppance.
Yeah,
he
I
got
see
his
that's
comeuppance.
you don't take
Yes.
advantage of a sleeping person who can't
That's
consent
right.
because you'll get tentacles that come out of their crumpling body and wrap around you and devour you. It's basic science. That's how it
Yeah.
goes.
I think that's a good lesson for kids
Yeah.
to learn. That will keep you from doing these. Oh, I
Yeah.
shouldn't do that because of that.
Mhm.
Not the moral implications. It's this
It's the
fear of
body crumpled
tentacles and
Yeah.
body crumpling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
they
was
mu-
that? Yeah, that was
Yeah, they-
Elena.
Erica Leniak.
Yes.
Yeah.
From what's the big thing you know her from?
Baywatch.
Oh yeah, Baywatch is the big thing that everyone knows her from. But I always recognize her from Bordello of Blood, Tales from the Crypt.
Oh yes.
The
Yes.
Tales from the Crypt movie that's basically just 90 minutes of Dennis Miller stand-up with boobs thrown in for good measure.
Why not?
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's always great when you see these movies and go, oh yeah, I recognize that person and that person again, and good to see them in these other things. And when I watch things with my wife Megan, she always recognizes everybody from Charmed, the TV show Charmed.
Oh, okay.
Basically, anytime she goes, I know that face, and I'm like, you're about to go on IMDb and find out they were in Charmed, aren't you? Every time. She knew Bruce Campbell from Charmed, from an episode of Charmed.
wow.
And
Oh
just
my gosh.
everyone was in Charmed at some point. That thing ran 8 years. And so that's how she always recognizes people. But I don't think anyone was in Charmed from this one.
No,
at all.
not that I know of.
It's like Monk for anybody who's ever done a comedic role. They also went through there at some point.
I think all the serious actors that are on shows like The Wire, they were on Law and Order or Homicide: Life on the Street. Always.
I think everyone's just been in a Law and Order episode at some point.
Yes.
I've probably been in one and didn't even realize I was in a Law
Blacked
and
out.
Order episode at one point. It's like, or a CSI or a NCIS or
Yeah.
an acronym or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then who else we got in here? We got Kevin Dillon as our hero, which I want to talk about the amazing twist that they did. So whenever you do a reboot, the original movie is all, the football star and the popular girl being like, oh, what's going on? And we're going to follow them the whole time. And then we're like, okay, so we've got Paul and we've got Meg, and they're going to be our star. Oh, nope, Paul's dead.
Yeah.
Rebel guy. He's the main character in this. Like,
That was really cool.
Okay.
That was
And
a great
he wasn't-
swerve.
He wasn't really a love interest,
No.
Mhm.
I
which
liked
was great.
that.
I loved that. It was just
Yeah.
like, oh, well, she's going to be with no, her boyfriend just died. And she's just like, I just am trying to save the town and survive. And
Yeah.
I don't need just to be, another love interest for someone else. I'm like, no, it's okay. I just watched Platonic. Men and women can be friends.
Yes, they
Just
can.
like Rose
It's
Byrne.
possible.
And
It is possible.
it is possible. But yeah, Kevin Dillon, who, of course, Johnny Drama from Entourage, just see that all the time. And man, the show makes me angry thinking about it. It's just Entourage and how shitty those people were in there. And then I watched it all, and I'm like, why am I watching these awful people?
You can't look away.
I think it
not
helped keep me
possible.
away from LA for so long because I was in Chicago, and I was just like, I don't want to go to LA. This is the way the people are all the time, just always sleeping around and being complete douchebags for everything. But yeah, he's also Kevin Dillon. Another thing I recognize him from, Tales from the Crypt. He was in an episode which I loved, which I actually talked about on Dads from the Crypt podcast randomly. that was a fraternity house that he had to like put people, haze pledges in, and then oops, it was a murder house. It wasn't just the normal like hazing, like commentary on hazing, but it was actual murder house. And then the girlfriend, Shawnee Smith. What does everyone recognize Shawnee Smith from?
Well, I recognize Shawnee Smith from a movie she did before this one called Summer School.
Yes, me too. She's the pregnant girl
She's
from
the
Summer
pregnant
School.
girl. Yes. Yes.
Summer School
Love it.
is a very underrated film starring
Yes.
the sexiest man of the year, Mark Harmon, and
Oh my
Kirstie
God.
Alley,
Yeah.
and amazing effects work. Like, it's one of the movies that actually taught me that effects was a thing, like special makeup effects and everything, because the two guys in it are so obsessed with Tom
They
Savini.
are. Yeah.
And they do a whole like gore scene, like really fun practical gore in a comedy. This is before I started watching tons of horror stuff that I'm like, oh, what is this? I like this. I would like more, please. Thank you. Should I base a career on this? Okay.
Yeah, it's a
but then,
great movie.
Yeah, I love Summer School. And then I also recognize her from Who's Harry Crumb, a movie nobody remembers.
I do remember it, but it's not my jam.
John Candy. I remember the
Yeah.
poster mainly. John Candy stuck
Yeah.
on a side of a thing going, oh, I'm John Candy.
Yeah.
It's a comedy. Then, of course, the one that everyone else probably recognizes her from, which my wife had to actually point out to me, Saw. She's Amanda
Yes.
in Saw 1 through 4. But
Yep.
I did not, for some reason, she looked different to me, and I did not connect it because all I saw, because it was around the same time as Summer School, I'm like, pregnant girl from Summer School. That's who she is. Rhonda. Yeah.
Yeah. She also was in It, the TV miniseries.
Oh, she was?
Mm-hmm.
Who is she in? Who is she in It?
She was the crazy lady that Nick and Tom run into
Okay.
in the downtown. Yeah. She chases
All
him
right.
with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better than being a crazy cat lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's most of the class. Oh no, Candy Clark, who is the Fran, the one who worked at the diner. I recognize her from Cat's Eye. If anyone knows that Stephen King anthology.
Yes.
Yes, she was
So
the
good.
evil mom, right? I'm pretty sure she was the mom of Drew Barrymore's character in that.
The one that
that's what
wanted
she
the
was.
cat to be thrown outside.
Yeah, the one that you
Yeah.
wanted to like get rid of the cat, and it's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm like, you have to save the cat. The cat's gonna, the Frank Welker troll's gonna get her. That movie scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. I just saw like the little hole opening up in the wall, the little
Yes.
red eyes. Anything like
Yes.
red eyes looking from the darkness is awful. That scared me. And then later on, I watched it, and I recognized the voice as Frank Welker, who's voiced everything ever in existence. Fred from Scooby-Doo and Abu. And I'm like, he's kind of just doing like his Nibbler voice a little bit.
Yeah.
And his Nibbler noise that I'm like, I'm not scared of this thing anymore because it sounds like Nibbler from Futurama. So thank you for that, for the behind the scenes but man, I was terrified of that little troll thing.
I don't know. I think the opening part of Cat's Eye was pretty, what is it? Quitters?
Oh, Quitters Anonymous?
Incorporated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incorporated.
They have really creative ways to get you to stop smoking, and they have eyes and ears everywhere to catch you smoking.
I think that's a very successful anthology movie. I like each of the anthology bits in that one.
Yeah.
But of course, we're not talking about Cat's Eye. We're talking about the Blob.
Back to the Blob.
What if this just became Cat's Eye and we stopped talking about the Blob entirely and just switched over to like that guy from Airplane? He had to walk around the building.
We are known to go on tangents in the middle of podcasts, so it's not a surprise to anyone who listens.
Did you recognize a very small role for a horror icon in this one? As one of the soldiers in the
Bill
sewer?
Moseley? Yeah.
That one took me a second, and I'm like, is that Chop?
That is Otis from House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Reject fame. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he is awesome. I know he was just in an Ice Nine Kills video with James and Chelsea, and I was like, oh, it's so good to see Bill. And they're like, he's so nice. He's so nice. Like, I bet he is. He seems like he's a really fun guy. Chop Top's probably my favorite character out of Texas Chainsaw history.
Nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then last one I will talk about, the movie that I always relate to this, as I did a lot of improv in Chicago, like a lot since high school. I did Second City and Annoyance and Improv Olympic, and one of the founders of Improv Olympic and one of the three big names in improv is Del Close, who is the man who played the Reverend in this. And so I will always think of this as the Del Close movie over anything else, because I'm like, why is Del Close in the Blob? This man who I was taught is like the man that started the Herald and created all this, like he directed Second City for like 10 years and is just like, he's the improv guru god. And he was in the Blob as a crazy Reverend character just off to the side.
That's great.
Oh, he was great. He was great.
It was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely. I'm actually just curious how much he improvised in this movie or how much was actually there. And I read that his burn makeup that he has later on apparently took 7.5 hours to put on for his healed like burn look at the end.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. I don't think that seemed like 7.5 hours worth of makeup, because it's just like this. It seems like it would just be a small,
unless they're talking full, because when he's holding that jar with the little blob in it at the end, like his arm looks all scarred and burned stuff. If they're talking about,
that's not his arm. That's absolutely a prosthetic puppet arm.
Yeah,
that is being like puppeteered. The little blob thing is being puppeteered through a wire, and that hand looks gnarly as hell too.
Does.
When you look at that hand, I'm just like, that's like a zombie hand.
Yeah, so if the makeup was not the arm, then I don't know why just the face would.
Yeah, no, it was just that. I'm like 7
and the
eye
hours. And stuff, but yeah. That's the eyes of contact. That's easy.
And a burn. Yeah. Cool. His fresh burns, like when he first gets burned, it said it was like 5 hours. Where it's like, put a bunch of black charred. He's charred. He's burned. It's fine. So yeah, lots of great people in this. Lots of fun performances. Lots of fun characters that I just was endeared to, like the characters that you're supposed to hate and excited that they die. They do, like the stupid moviegoer in the back being like, hey, watch this part in the movie.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. I love that.
And it's such a quick death too. It's like, hey, whoa, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's eaten.
The Blob hates when people talk in movies. They need to hire the Blob for an Alamo Draft House because he could use his powers for good.
True.
Yeah, I think they'd hire him. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the Blob definitely used his powers for good in this one, taking out some despicable people. But
he did kill a kid, though. He killed a kid.
That was.
But it was Eddie,
annoying,
and he did. I mean, Eddie did make a bad bro move by like talking about the movie in front of your friend's mom. You don't do that. That's a terrible bro move. So,
which I love the fake movie within the movie, the Garden Tool Massacre.
Oh my god! Yes. I want to see that. I
literally have a list.
How bad it is, right?
I have a note because we just covered American Werewolf in London recently, and
okay.
So between the fake porn movie in that movie and this one, I'm like, is my thing just fake movies within other movies with terrible dialogue? Because I want more of this. I love it so much.
Wait, is the fake porn movie in that one where the guy like walks in and is like, he just like goes, oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, he goes, I told you not to ever be here. And she's like, I don't even know you. And he's like, I'm not talking to you. It's like, I don't know you either. Oh, sorry. And then like walks out.
That was that movie.
Oh my god.
Such a bizarre, amazing moment. I was thinking that I want, like, if I ever set up a home like theater, like with posters and like lighted marquees, I only want the fake movies from within movies. So like a Stab poster. I think there's one in Monster Squad that is Groundhog Day Massacre, maybe, or something like that. That they're like watching from binoculars in a drive-in.
Yes.
That I'm just like, I only want the fake movies just up here. Be like, what are these movies? Like they're
Such
movies within
idea.
movies.
Hey, have you ever seen Monster Squad?
No, that's another one.
He has it. It's
another one.
It's
okay.
I have a brand to upkeep that I only watch them years later on this podcast.
Zoran, I've been working very hard over the last.
I'm very proud of the work that you're doing, Daphne.
I
have to bring him in. Yeah.
Mhm.
The number
That's
of
good.
movies that I've introduced him to is much more than the movies he's introduced me to. Like, lots more.
I
There's just so
finally
many
got
classics.
Yeah, I got my wife up to date on pretty much all the classics during the pandemic. That was the pandemic. It was like, all
What
right,
else you gonna do?
here's the list, honey. There's like, okay, here's the list of movies you need to watch, honey. And then she's like, well, here's the movies you need to watch. And it was like 4. It's like Bend It Like Beckham, Sing
Oh,
Street.
good one.
They're good one. I'm glad the ones that
I
she
like Sing
picked, but she would name them and be like, seen it. I've seen so many movies, but the Blob was one that I was on her list that I thought she hadn't seen, but apparently she did. She got confused with The Stuff.
Oh,
like,
the stuff
oh,
is
so she hasn't seen The Stuff, but she's seen the Blob. She's like, oh, I remember this, and then they try and jump the motorcycle. Oh yeah, I've seen this. We're like, but we're still watching it because I love it.
We already started. We can't turn back.
We already started. She's like, no, it's great. I'm glad that I've turned her over to horror. And there are some moments in here that she really enjoyed. I don't know why she kept laughing when the guy was mixing the drink with like the egg beater.
Yeah.
She was just like was cracking up at like that's his mixology skills. I'm like, the guy's just trying to do some date rapey stuff. I don't think he's caring so much about the ratio and how well it's all mixed there. Let me put my strawberry in there. Those strawberries would not be super fresh if they were sitting in the back of his car.
No.
Like, how long is all that back there just jostling around? It's a weird idea.
Yeah, the actor that played Scott actually went on to become a decent soap opera star. He got a bunch of nominations. That's where I remember him from. Is I saw him on soap operas in like the late 80s. So,
cool.
Yeah. He didn't do quite what he was doing in this movie, thankfully.
No, not quite.
No.
That's good. My wife also really loved the homeless guy.
Yeah.
He was endearing, just having that one small moment. And this is just where I think this movie just shines so very much. It's succinct at just about 90 minutes and sets up all the characters, has a 50s sensibility to it, like a 50s kind of aesthetic. Like you got him in the Letterman's jacket. The town looks like a 50s town, but it's the 80s kind of values of, the condom scene. The pharmacy scene was so just perfectly executed just on its own. That scene works so well. Oh, the Reverend's here, and I've got, hey, do you want ribbed or regular? Like,
talk about bad bro moves.
God. And then, that, and the fact that it then paid off even more that was the dad.
I laughed so hard at that reveal. I will tell you, when that newspaper comes down,
and his one word is just ribbed.
The term guffawed is fitting here. I did. It got me really good. I laughed really hard. And I was just like, oh man, Scott threw him under that ribbed bus, and now it's for nobody's pleasure. We're having a bad time.
That character looks exactly like a character from the original. I watched the trailer for the original. I have not seen the 50s one in many, many years, so I don't remember. But I watched the trailer. I'm like, wow, he looks exactly the same as this one guy with a shotgun in the trailer. Well done, because I'm pretty sure it's not the same guy 30 years later.
No.
But yeah, I would say the hobo, like it's just him clapping, just like for the bike thing. They're setting up the bike jump that's gonna obviously happen later, and he falls, the clapping, and then just like takes his can, goes on his way, and there's just like this endearing moment. And then when he got killed, my wife Megan was just like, "Oh, that just sucks, stupid movie. Why'd you do that to him? He was a really nice guy, but man, did he get killed? Just melted."
It's the worst hand injury I've ever seen.
Yeah,
cut off his own hand, and then it like the blob like sucks up the blood. So you're like, yeah, cool, yeah, I would have, because there's probably some guy in the audience who's about to get sucked up by the blob, going, "Why did you just cut his hand off?" Okay, this is why.
This is why.
Tight writing, Chuck Russell, Frank Darabont, just solid, tight setup, payoff, just simple little interactions that let you endear to the characters and relate to them without spending a ton of time.
Yeah, everything kind of comes back, because I had a moment while they're like walking through the forest. I was like, what happened to the kids? Kevin and Eddie. I was just like, did they leave? They walked out the front door and walked out of the movie, and then it's like, oh no, now they're back. Eventually, we'll pay all that off in the later portion of this movie. Here they are.
Yeah, and I will say it's weird that Kevin Dillon's fixing his bike in the woods.
Yeah,
in the woods. I wasn't sure about it's like a midnight ratcheting just with the beautiful light streaks and everything coming through there. I'm just like, does he live in the woods? Is he homeless too? Is that his dad?
I thought maybe it's because that's where it was broken down, and so he just decided.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he was too lazy to move.
I guess he just walked to town to get the ratchet and then walked back to the woods.
Back,
yeah,
that's fair.
I like the relationship that he had with the hobo because he actually seemed concerned.
He liked it. He cared, and he was a caring individual. Yeah. Oh, so lovely. And then they all get killed and eaten, and it's all very sad. And when they take him to the hospital, and I just remember watching it, and the guy gets taken off to the room, the hobo, and then Paul's filling out the medical forms.
It's a lot of writing for just what he could have been. I don't know in big letters.
Well, but I'm like, what do you write it occupation, hobo, and collection, address, the woods, emergency contact.
His dog, maybe
dog Snuffles. I don't know.
I just thought it was funny that the nurse said you have to fill these things out right after they said we don't know who this guy is.
Yeah, exactly. And then she also made them wait when there was just there's an emergency. There's no one else in the freaking hospital in this small town, and she's just thumbing through her paper. Which, have you ever licked your finger to flip the pages of anything in your life?
Yeah. I
you do?
I
have never done this, and it's always been something in movies that I'm like, why am I getting the pages wet? Why am I going? Well, there's a page.
It helps you turn them.
Okay. I don't know. You're damaging the paper. I guess I'm reading a lot of comics, and I don't want to lick my comics. I don't want to get my filthy oils on my Uncanny X-Men 287 first appearance of Gambit. That's the right one. 67. I can't remember which number it is. I'm sure there'll be comments that'll tell me. Goodness. I love this movie so much. That's all I can say. Someone else say a thing. I've talked a lot about a lot of things.
What other topic was that one point? Was that what was going on?
I think that
I jumped from one thing. I was like actors, this, that, and everything.
Talk about effects. So
Zoran
this guy
did all of his points.
Just do it all. No,
I think it was just an analysis. One led to the other. It's called conversation.
It's all good because usually Daphne goes next, but I'm going to ask her, permission to go because I do have points that just tie right into that. Because one of my main ones definitely was the deaths and effects and things like that, and mainly just jokes and pointing out that was cool, but you got a lot of the behind the scenes, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just again, the worst hand injury ever, where your entire lower half is melted. I love the practical effects. Paul, that scene was great. Meg tries to give him a hand, ends up taking one. Let's see. Paul, while they're driving in the car after the interaction with her father, says, oh, Scott's gonna die, and I was like, oh, that's a. Did you just spoil the movie for me, Paul? And then he did. We go to the diner. We get some Blob plunging, which is the lesser known Chumbawamba song.
Every time reaching into a drain, my God, that's just it's a universal fear. But even there's not a garbage disposal there on that. Anytime it's a garbage disposal, you're just no, I don't even do that. I know that the thing is off. I still stick a fork in there. I will fish out whatever's in there.
I've seen enough movies to know
putting my
this
hand
broom is going to fall and start off a chain reaction, and it's going to flip the switch. So I'm not even going to.
Not going to happen. Yeah. And then that thing erupts, and then it crushes his head. When his head gets pulled into the drain.
Yeah.
And it just truncates his head and then vomits. Oh, goddamn.
And the pipes, it was going through the pipes, and the pipes were expanding.
I'd be terrified too. Yeah, watching this guy go
No.
down the drain, and that's again where I was like, I have to give props, and I was like, I didn't even mean for that one to be a joke, but to the special
Mhm.
effects team, just because they're good. And then I recently saw one of the main guys behind the special effects in this movie, Nick Benson,
Okay.
is also very well known for his special effects work on just a little movie called Tremors that me and Zoran might share a deep love for.
I've never
Mhm.
heard of this film. What is a Tremors?
It's think land sharks.
Okay,
Put on
so I'm
Notepad
thinking
somewhere.
Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
Chevy Chase, Andy Graham.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
man.
Yeah.
Oh
I
boy.
think there's a land shark behind you, or is that a whale behind you, Daphne?
That's
No.
Blobs, who turns into blobs with his yo-yo. Yeah.
No.
in
He
the-
was talking
Okay.
to me, Pake.
her.
No.
Her.
That is a mosasaur.
Oh, it is a mosasaur. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a huge Jurassic nerd. Like times a million.
Mhm.
So yeah, I have
I have a
some-
Jurassic Park themed bathroom.
You do?
Yeah, it says "Welcome to Jurassic Park" when you enter, and there's a thunderstorm and lightning machine, and then a raptor over the toilet. It's a whole thing. It's our goal is to have the coolest bathroom ever in our
I
place,
think
and
you win.
everyone's
You
like,
win.
"Yeah,
You win.
I don't know
my
who the
Yeah.
other, nominees are, but you get the award.
You win.
Uh,
You had
Oh.
me at Raptor.
oh yeah, we have a full size raptor coming out of the wall." That hey, if you're standing there and using the toilet, it's staring right into your eyes.
I love it. I
uh,
love it.
Hopefully, in the future, we can arrange for a T-Rex head to come out of the wall on the other side when you're on the toilet to
Oh, you
literally
have-
scare the shit out of you.
oh, nice. What's the shower curtain? Please tell me you have just a Ian Malcolm sexy pose.
No, there is no shower
Ah.
curtain. It's a glass shower, but
Ah.
it has decals of ferns, and then against the wall in the back, it says "the bathroom" in the Jurassic Park logo. I originally ordered it because I thought it would be about this big, and
Yeah.
it turns out it was like this big. I didn't look at the dimensions. I was like, I'll put it on the front door. Oh, that don't fit on no front door. That's going on the entire wall of the shower.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I love
I
it.
love it. Let's see, what other notes about deaths and things? I've talked about a lot. Yeah, the phone booth bursting in on the dummy of Fran is fun.
So brutal.
Yeah.
So brutal.
Let's see, the movie, it was fitting that the movie theater marquee just said massacre show. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they're down in the sewers and Eddie's crying and screaming, going, I'll never see another movie again. And I was like, yes, Eddie, this whole thing was an orchestrated punishment because you saw a movie. And
But
it
you
will
weren't
end in your
supposed-
excruciating death. So I hope you learned a lesson, kid.
You know who played Eddie?
I do my little IMDb run.
Ooh.
I didn't remember
Yes,
the name, but he's done some other things.
Okay. Oh, he did a very big thing. His name is Douglas
Was
Emerson.
it a Tremors?
No.
No, it's not a Tremors.
He was in the first season of Beverly Hills 90210, the original, and he actually played David Silver's friend who killed himself accidentally with a gun. Yeah, it was a big thing. He was a full cast member in the first season, and it happened in the second season, and yeah, it was a real big thing at the time because it was handling a topic
Gun
that
violence.
wasn't
Mm-hmm.
wasn't really, there really wasn't enough of a lens on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
So
for him.
All right. I
Uh,
did not know that.
yeah, that's cool. We always learn things. Even Zoran Gvojic can learn
Even
things.
me,
on
even
Referee
I can learn things
Labs.
that I didn't just Google an hour before this meeting.
Right. Meadows, Dr. Meadows becomes Deadows. He goes
Oh,
down.
he's such a jerk character,
I know.
and it's so good that I'm glad that there are also good characters in the government too.
Yeah.
And it was
Mhm.
like, and this guy's like, all right, he's gone, the asshole's gone, kill the thing, we're done.
Yeah.
I'm
Don't listen to
we're
him.
not all like, we need
Yeah.
it for the weapons and the war and everything. Like, no,
No.
kill the thing.
Yeah, he got his
And-
comeuppance by going down.
Oh,
Mhm.
and that, yeah, the blob going into his thing, and then I'll always remember just like the puppeteered, like violent
Just-
shaking, and then just
yeah,
It's great.
sucked into the sewer, broken. That's in my
Bye-bye.
head.
And the other soldiers soon after that, when they start trying to fight, which the line, he goes, "You're hot," and I was like, "What?" And they go, "Oh, the flamethrower. That makes sense." I thought his coworker, his fellow soldier, just thought this was the time to tell him he thought he was attractive. I mean,
I might die, so I just need you to know I've always found you attractive.
just so you know, you're hot. But yeah, then it backfires. Damn it, I'm sorry for that one. And yeah, he is super hot. So
yeah, I watched this scene and I'm like, kill counting. This would be interesting.
Yeah, there's a
lot of death in this one too. So
yeah, it really is.
They can get me up in that. Keep me up in that top area. I got 3 slots at the top kill counts right now, all by accident. Not having high numbered films, but it's the way it works.
And then lastly, the deputy. Speaking of bend it like Beckham earlier, man, he just bends right backwards in half through that bookcase. I'm just like, there we go. We are back to good practical.
I know.
It's just bent in half like a Jason Voorhees.
Yes.
Smashing a guy in his bed.
Exactly.
And that was a guy that was from RoboCop, who I always remember was like, he got like mutated and was like going toward the car and then like got hit by the car and like exploded all over it. Which that movie is a Criterion film.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't understand Criterion. what their prerequisite is. That, as well as
what is Criterion criteria?
And Armageddon. Not one, but 2 Michael Bay films are Criterion level films. Not Tremors. That's fine. But Armageddon and The Rock are worthy of the Criterion collection.
Okay.
Up there with The Seventh Seal and anything by Kurosawa.
To start some sort of campaign.
Tremors for Criterion.
Yeah.
I'll stand on the front lines for that one.
Just make sure you're on a boulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to
get
sucked down.
But yeah, so that's the point I want to talk about was just those deaths and effects and stuff, because I had some. Those were, like you mentioned, just incredible. You don't see a lot of movies with that level of practical effects.
That level
nowadays.
of
like,
memorable death, too. Like the visuals, and I don't know if it's just because I maybe saw it when I was younger, but some of these just stick with you, and that I feel like they're unlike. They have a visceral like reaction and to all of these things, like the face collapsing inward and blood coming out of her eyes and just it erupting goo. Just so much. So many just memorable scenes that are just horrifying and well done. Where instead of, you see a lot of horror movies and sometimes it's like off-screen kills. Like, we're not killing people off-screen. You're seeing them all get murdered right in front of your face in new and interesting way. This guy, maybe off-screen as in it gets eaten up here, but later you'll see his face melting and a yo-yo coming out.
I know.
Yeah,
it wasn't just sucked away. You see that aftermath, all right? We're going to show you
mentioned
that
Eddie,
shit.
The kid, is like, he gets pulled under the water and you think that's it for a while.
Okay.
Which I thought was funny because, Meg goes like, oh, no, it goes back. And Kevin is like, Meg, no, don't go back for him. He kind of sucked anyways. It's okay.
Yeah.
But then you think that's it. And then she comes up. It's like, oh, she didn't find him. And then, oh, no, there's this like half melted zombie Eddie. Cool. That's great.
Yeah.
And I guess that kid will no longer be eating with his face, as the mom said earlier. If you remember that line.
Yes.
Don't eat with your face. It's like, well,
how?
How the hell else do you want me to eat? I promise you, Jell-O enema is a lot more disturbing. So I'm doing it this way.
Not that South Park episode where they put everything through their butt and poop out their mouths.
Yeah.
But that actually reminds me of there's a couple really good edit jokes, and the last time I've been impressed by editing jokes was Jason Lives. Part 6, Friday the 13th, Part 6 has some of the best editing jokes where it's someone like going in one scene, what do you think I am, some kind of fart head? Cuts to a bunch of kids at the camp going, yeah, like answering his question. And they did that with this where like the blob attacks the hobo and then it cuts to the slurping of the Jell-O. So it's like the blob shot cuts to that. And then there's another one where I think the guy in the projection booth gets killed. He like gets sucked up into the air, and then it cuts to the audience going, ah!
Yeah.
All screaming and things. I'm like,
even earlier on.
As an editor jokes, just, I love it.
Ryan's failed motorcycle jump at first that sets up later is being cheered on from miles away by the
by everybody there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was clever. I thought it was
Just
fun.
really clever things in here.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it all. No wonder this man went on to direct The Mask, another great film that I love. Not the Eric Stoltz Mask, the Jim Carrey one.
Yeah.
Eric Stoltz, was he in that movie? Did he?
No,
did
he
he
was
actually
Marty
spend-
McFly.
Did he spend, time on screen? It's not an Anaconda situation where he's like, I'm here, but not really. I'm going to lay in bed the whole movie.
That's our Eric Stoltz.
All right, Daphne, what do you have as a first point?
Well,
Kick it
I
off.
don't know if there's anything left.
I said we
Talk
talked
about-
about a lot of things. Sorry.
However, so I'm gonna do my thing. I'm
Okay.
gonna talk about stuff that we haven't talked too much about. I want to talk about how I thought Shawnee Smith was amazing as Meg.
Mhm.
I love that she was, they show her as a cheerleader, and I think people get this impression that cheerleaders are not don't really have a brain sometimes. At least in the 80s, that was kind of the stereotype. She did not hesitate to go and try to save her brother. She didn't hesitate to grab the fire extinguisher and get the fire off the Reverend. She didn't hesitate to go out and try to save Brian Flagg. She did it. She was tough. And I really appreciate when they make women not afraid. Because I was concerned at first, because I haven't seen this one in a really long time. I was concerned at first when she's passing out with the hand. She breaks the hand.
I mean, that's
I was a
pretty
little
fucking
concerned.
traumatizing for anyone.
It
You're
is.
holding your significant other's arm just comes off and I don't not blah.
Mm.
Well,
I
remember
would
this.
pass out from that.
This was their first date. They hadn't been.
You're
going
right.
together.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This was.
Yeah.
I thought they'd been going together.
Yeah.
One
I'm
hell
putting a
of a first
relationship
date.
on them that does not belong there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I loved how quick she was to just jump into it and get shit done.
Yeah.
While other
Yeah.
people were just standing around mulling over what needed to be done. She finds out her brother's at the theater. Boom, she's going.
Mhm.
Yeah. She's like opening up a manhole cover, being like, "Oh, get in the sewer, go, move, just
Yeah.
we're just did shit." And then she's like firing the assault rifle at it,
Yep.
throwing the bomb pack down. I loved how at the end I always love it when plans fail. It's probably why I love Tremors so
Mhm.
much. Is like it's always like, here's the
Plan and
plan.
another
I got
plan.
this. I got the snow truck. I'm gonna drive it into the thing. Flip. Well, that
Yep.
fucking didn't work, and now
Yeah.
I'm dead. Oh, well, I got to come over here and I'm gonna throw the bomb on the train. Let's go. I'm stuck. I'm stuck on this stupid
Yeah.
thing.
Yep.
I felt like I shouldn't have laughed as hard as I did when she got caught on there. I did. I
Oh, it's
busted
very
out
funny.
laughing.
It's a very funny
is.
pratfall.
But it's
very funny,
because
but then it's good tension built.
yeah, the
Yeah.
thought that I literally just had, I just made a note and just said, wow, she looks super badass standing up there with the gun and the flames all around her and the wet hair. And then that happened immediately after, and it cracked me the fuck up. I just
Yeah.
It's a great juxtaposition of
Yeah.
she's not the John McClane character now of John
Right.
McClane originally kind of fucked up things and was getting beat up, and that's what made him an interesting action hero. And then by Die Hard 4, he's jumping off of highways and firing and launching cars into helicopters.
Yeah.
He's invincible now, and I can't
Yeah.
relate. And it's she has this moment of badassery, and then just nope, she's still human and still fuck
Yeah.
things up. And there's still she could still die, so there's still that
Mhm.
peril. And instead
Yeah.
of the invincible nature of there's no peril, there's no stakes.
Yeah. You mentioned
But
going down into the sewers, which, yeah, I had the thought. I was like, yeah, let's head down there. That's safe. Maybe
Nice
there's a
clean
group
sewers.
maybe there's a group of mutant turtles that we can, help out the situation. Maybe there's a dancing clown that'll make it worse, or maybe there's some other motorcycle driving dweeb that appears out of nowhere and makes everything about him and makes it really super annoying. Talk about some Halloween ends there.
There it is. I was
oh,
like,
man.
that reference. Okay, I haven't. I'm currently watching through all the Halloweens again.
Have you
Spoiler
seen?
as a
Have you seen Halloween Ends?
yes.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
so sorry for you.
I think we talked
Those-
about that in New Mexico. It was
I
like,
Yeah.
would
why?
just say those 3 films I believe worked better in reverse order. If you look at the character arc for Laurie specifically, I think it works better as we have a copycat killer. Laurie's trying to live her life, moves on into the middle of like, now it's the town uniting, and then the end goes to, I am prepared for this. I am accepting what I need to do. And, you know, I tried to escape my life, but now I have to do this and finish this. I think that worked better in that order because it was so weird.
Yeah.
So weird bringing in this character and spending so much time with this character in the third one that wasn't even like set up in the first one or even the second one. It was just,
man.
hey, we're spending time with this guy. Like, I don't know who this is and I don't care who this is.
Exactly.
Are you gonna have Michael Myers in your Michael Myers Halloween film? Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
No,
if we have to, we'll let him get the shit beat out of him for a second. Are you happy?
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Did they not learn anything from the third one? Because I really didn't like the third one.
Which one?
Season of the Witch.
That is the best Halloween movie ever.
No.
I will stand by Halloween 3 Season of Witch being the best Halloween film ever.
No.
Because it has nothing to do with Michael Myers. Because I am not a Michael Myers fan. I respect the first film, and the 2018 requel. I enjoyed.
Yeah.
But most of the others, I do not like the Halloween movies. I've just rewatched it. Literally, that's what I was doing today, is making selects of Halloween movies for a potential They Talk episode, continuing on with more Halloween stuff. And I'm watching all of them. And my God, Paul Rudd is terrible. It's
Oh man,
so bad.
Oh,
so
there's
painful.
so many bad things. Once it gets going. And it
Let's
just keeps
have
going.
Michael have sex with his niece to create a baby for our cult. In the producer's cut, they cut that out in the regular cut. But
It's
my God,
crazy. I mean, it's nuts. I'm not a fan of Michael Myers when I'm playing Dead by Daylight because he can kill me immediately, almost.
Okay.
He's one of the killers in the game.
I got to get back into Dead by Daylight. I became more of the Friday the 13th and Evil Dead game. And I bought all the DLC for it. That's the thing, is I see it and it's on sale. I'm like, oh, Pinhead? Yeah, I'll buy that. Never played as Pinhead. Never did it. Ash? Sure, I got Ash. Never played as Ash.
And you know who's coming.
Nick Cage.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So weird. I'm just excited for that, but I've never gotten into the game. But now I've got this nice, shiny gaming PC set up.
Oh, so you're ready now. Yeah.
I'm ready now. I opted for the big Prime Day sales of things and got an ultra wide display.
You know what I bought with Prime Day sales? Dum Dum lollipops. That was my big.
What are you, a bank?
Yes.
The only time I've had Dum Dum lollipops is when they had the tubes.
Yeah.
In the bank, and it'd be like.
Yes.
The parent, if the parent is banking and they see, oh, a child's in the car, let me send one of these dum-dums back in there in their mystery flavor.
Yeah, I just had this random thing because I was like, I'm like actively like on like a diet trying to lose weight, and I'm like, I need something to just like work on that, and I'm like, they're like 25 calories a piece, and it's something to like fixate where you like get rid of that.
Because
like,
to me, I just think anytime suckers are never a dietary. I need to get a better diet, so I bought 1,000 lollipops. And all I did, they're 25 calories each. So I just know that I can take less than 100 for my daily calories, and
no, it's good for that.
Be my 2,000 calories.
Oh God,
curbs that. That's the plan. But
I see you with like 15 sticks sticking out of your mouth.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
that's my fixation. It's my nicotine patch.
Yeah, Pig, don't show up. When I see you on Monday, don't show up with lollipops in your mouth like that.
No promises.
Lollipops in your mouth and butter in my ass.
I got the Jello enema. I've got it ready.
Okay. Well, yeah. Just don't use your face. Don't eat with your face. That's what I've learned.
Don't eat with your... and from the makers of Jello enema, the much more marketable product, Trunk Bar.
Oh God. That was
so yes,
awful.
Daphne, what other things did you have?
Yeah.
We had strong leading lady, which is really nice to see, especially in the 80s. It was rare.
Yeah, you didn't see that. They were the damsels in distress. Always.
Aside from like Ripley. Ripley was like the big one.
Yeah. And this came out after, so maybe it was Maybe they realized that they didn't have to make her, void.
It's also a
any-
play on the original, like, because the original is the 50s damsel in distress style with Steve McQueen and everything. That they just like, all right, let's do this, and good kudos to them. We need more of it. Strong characters in general that still have flaws, so they're relatable.
Yes, they're not perfect. And Pake and I have talked before about this one. I'm just glad that we didn't get some big kiss at the end. Like they hugged and they were friends. And I just think it's okay. You can have that sweet relationship with a friend. You don't have to be together in order to be close.
Agreed.
And I appreciated that so much because I feel like they try to put cherries on the top of sundaes in movies when they try to throw people. They almost force people together at the end to kiss just to make it, and they lived happily ever after.
Now listen, Tremors worked very well at that.
So Tremors was the opposite, where they originally didn't want to do that.
They
The
originally
audience was
didn't
like,
have the
"Don't
kiss
you
in there.
dare not
but
have the
the audience at the test screening chanted, "Kiss her, kiss her, kiss her," and the studio's like, "Here's your money, make a new ending."
Oh my god!
But that relationship at least was set up through the film, and was about changing his perception of what women were for him, because he was just like, I like big-breasted blonde women, and that's all, and legs that go all the way up. And that's all that he cared about. And then he's like, oh, a normal human woman who can take care of herself.
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
That
And then they got together. And then he's like, oh, I'm wrong about what I've been thinking, and yeah.
I also saw little things in this movie that reminded me of other ones, like other films.
Okay.
I either saw it in the films before or after. Like the manhole that's covered by the truck, they tell that evil doctor tells them to close the manhole and not let them out, put the truck over it, straight out of frickin' Chud. Okay.
I have.
Is that what they did in it?
I said he pulled a Chud on him and parked the van over.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Dr. Meadows didn't watch the rest of Chud because Brian finished with that scene and blew the van up.
Yes. It's what you do.
Yeah, I always loved that. I always thought that was smart. I'm just like, oh yeah, that's the way you close up a manhole cover. Just put a truck on it. They ain't getting out of that. Tell you that.
Right. Also, the movie that they were seeing, the Garden
Tool Massacre.
Okay.
Wait a minute, hockey season ended a month ago.
It just seemed very much like a Friday the 13th, like Halloween ripoff.
I mean, that's what they were going for. Obviously, they were trying to comment on like that's what was probably in all the theaters was just slasher movies. So they're like, here's our different thing.
It's your classic slice and dice.
I liked also the hobo when he goes to investigate the meteor that's fallen. Reminded me a lot of Slither.
Slither definitely takes inspiration from this style thing.
Yeah.
But the cool twist that they actually also did, they didn't mention, was that it wasn't an alien.
Right.
That the Blob was actually a virus.
Man-made.
Man-made, put into space, and then mutated on the way down. And I thought that was a really cool reveal that, gets us back to the don't trust the government, bioweapons. That's what
and then Meadows goes, oh, the civilians are,
expendable.
They're expendable. And I was like, went to in my like Scott Pilgrim. I was like, that's evil.
Yeah. I think that I appreciated Brian in that scene when he was kind of eavesdropping and listening, and then went, to the town to help Meg because he cared. And I liked seeing that he cared, because when they introduce him in this movie, you think he's just going to be this asshole, and he ends up having more layers than that.
Right. Yeah.
He's not this delinquent. There's more to it than that.
Yeah. Well,
even the deputy.
This the first time. Yeah.
He's
like,
who believes him is like, I'm going to put my gun on you because you're the troublemaker in the town and everything. And he's like, actually, what you're saying makes fucking sense. Let's just figure both of you put your guns down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some simple little layers that just add 2 notes to our characters instead of the 1 note character. It's just add one little thing that's just like, yeah, that's
Make it
a
a little
little more
more.
realistic and things like that.
Mhm.
I
I always
also,
hate,
yeah, I also thought it wasn't over the top. Like this movie
Yeah.
wasn't OTT. It could have gone in that direction, but it stayed serious. It stayed such that you got concerned when they were killing people. When they killed the guy that you think is going to be the hero, as we talked about, no one's safe. I mean, you start to wonder
You
who's going to be
set
safe in this.
You set the rules and just like, we have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
We've now become accustomed to that. I think it's kind of, I equate it to like Game of Thrones, where they just started killing off people so that you didn't know who was safe or anything. So now, in some ways, we expect the unexpected one to become the kill now. It's like, well, that person probably shouldn't die, so they're going to get killed like immediately or hit by a car. Anytime now I watch someone walk into a street without looking, I think they're going to get hit by a car in a movie because of, I think, Final Destination.
Yes.
Just like was the first one to do that of like, oh, and now they use that effect all the time. I think Meet Joe Black did it as well. It's just like, hey, we're going to have someone in the street and they're saying something and be like, I'm being loud and saying information and there's no way you can stop me.
And then boom. Yeah.
That's how we stop you.
They're even using it. That happened in Mean Girls. Of all movies.
Yeah. Mean Girls, it's the ending of Scary Movie 1 and 2, I think. Yeah. It's the exact same ending.
Yeah, it's definitely not just horror. They're using it in other.
That got replaced by the car, where they started to figure out that they can have like the car driving in the camera, and then you'll see like a car coming like at the driver or whatever.
Yeah.
So they'd use that one all the time of like, will you stop it? I'm not looking in this direction. Bam.
Yeah.
That happened just, in Yellow Jackets this season.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very visceral effect, but it's some of those that I start to predict.
You start seeing
what those were. And
I get antsy just like, watching 2 characters sitting alone, like talking for too long in some of these shows. Because I'm like, okay, it's just been dialogue. Who's getting shot in the head any second? Like, where's the surprise coming from? Yeah.
There's so many ways they can cleverly do that. I mean, you just sit. I mean, you're anxious by the end because you're. If everyone lives by the end of the episode, you're just like, oh my god, I've just been anxious for an hour. Yeah. It's what happens.
Good. We live in a good time of television.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're spoiled. We're spoiled with all the entertainment we have.
We are really spoiled. I mean, just even in looking at the Emmy nominations that just came out. So all you have to do is go through that list.
Can't pick. They're all good.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. Do you have more? Did you like do other multiple points? Again, I'm so confused. What are we doing? Points? No, it's fine. I love the conversation.
It doesn't have to be points, man. It's just talking about the movie.
I have other points, so I'm going to talk about them. Because we mentioned Brian a lot, and even that subversion of who he is. Because again, being the first time I've watched this, right off the bat, I go, and this guy, he's the bad guy. You can tell because of the leather jacket and the smoking and the littering, the humanity, And then I was like, oh, and his last name's Flag, a little nod to the king, perhaps. Like, okay, here's what we're doing.
It is.
Wait, a nod to the king? What did I miss?
Like Stephen
Flag?
King. Randall Flag.
Brian's last name, he's named after Randall Flagg.
Which is...
Plays a huge part in a lot of Stephen King stuff. Dark Tower,
The Stand. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am not up to date on all of my King lore. More films than books.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not watch the Tower with Idris Elba.
I haven't watched the movie either.
No.
Even like the Eyes of the Dragon has a whole like flag thing. Like,
all right. I'm going to look out for that now.
Yeah. It's really cool. So immediately I was just like, oh, his last name's Flag, leather jacket.
Of course, because Darabont's like, I'm going to make all the Stephen King movies one day. Just as dramas for 3 of them. Then a horror.
And then he's the one that the police are suspecting for the gruesome dissolving of 2 people in a hospital that he left forever ago.
Fucking teenagers always dissolving people.
That's what they do. Which I like that the sheriff was one of the good ones. Is finally is like, there's there's no reasonable explanation for us keeping him. Let him go. Like, just let him go. And the deputy's like, but I'm not done insulting his parents yet. I'm not done being a dick. I love that he licks the deputy in the face when he's like, what are you going to do about it? And I'm like, I respect the move. Keep them guessing. Never let them know your next move, right? And then I ended up, really, really enamored to the character of Brian Flagg, because I made that joke about this stereotypical like bully bad guy at first, and then it's this good case of assumed identity. Like, yeah, he's rough, he's clearly a troublemaker, but he's not a bad guy. He's kind of fits this. Oh, he's actually likable and funny and personable when you give him the chance. His interaction with Meg in the diner is what really gives you that. Sharing his sandwich and like, even though, like what she's saying sounds completely bonkers, but he's going to give her the opportunity. And I love that joke where he's just like, unbelievable. And she's looking at him like, what? Because I just never heard you say the word shit before. What was that like for you? And yeah, that's where I really decided. I was like, okay, I like him. And then Fran there at the diner is like really amiable to him and really likes him. And then I was like, be more like Fran. See the good in people. Yeah. But don't be more like Fran, get murdered in a phone booth. Don't do that part. But seeing the good in people and being nice to people who are a little on the outside, definitely. He murders the strawberry jam, or what he says. However, that can clearly says Concord grape jelly. So what else are you lying about, Brian Flagg?
Oh my god!
Hold on, that reminded me. Side comment: that freezer did not look very cold. All the boxes were covered with what I wanted to not be gross about what they were covered with. I said that it looked like the frosting from toaster strudels. Pastries or things like that. It was just like, slap that on all the boxes. It's cold in here.
Now. Yeah.
Like,
at least they didn't use sand. No,
I don't think they even have breath like coming out of their mouth at all. And I'm just like, wow, this fake snow that they just sprayed on everything in this room.
But he did give Meg his coat.
He did. And she was probably too warm when she had the coat. He's like, I'm too warm. You wear this.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's too hot in here. It is not a freezer.
Well, he was probably hot because he had hair extensions. So
this all sitting on your neck. His neck was sweating. Yeah. Man, that coif of hair. Like, man, to make it more realistic, we should have seen him definitely in the woods, just really working that dude and getting it up there.
It didn't. I don't think it moved.
It did not. Oh, that's hairspray, baby.
Yeah, Aquanet in the 80s.
Yeah, destroy that environment. Destroy that ozone. Get it. Keep that hair up.
Yeah. Fashion comes at a price, even if it's the environment. And then, so they're in the woods, all the stuff with the scientist, soldier, government people. Meadows tells him, young man, please step into the van. I'm like, no interaction that started with that line has ever ended well in the history of ever, I assume.
No.
And then they're not going to think twice about the fact that they put two people in the van and then one came out. And they're just like, it's fine. Just do it. Yeah. And then when he's running away from them, I was sitting there doing the awkwardly timed go chant with him when he's trying to jump it the second time. And you could do it. And then when he
did it,
when he lands, that middle finger had a key change. Bam, bam. I was like, yeah. Art.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
This time I also didn't notice snow globe. There's a shot that starts on a snow globe where she's like, I think in her room and just like looking at it, and then the big snow scene at the end where it's like, oh, it's Blob remake day, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. Yeah. Brian kind of saves Meg there when she's hanging on, from the tubing there. Last moment, the Blob takes the CO2 tank that's bombed, armed with the bomb, and then boom, snow and rock candy for everyone. It's a Christmas miracle. God bless us, everyone.
Don't eat the rock candy. If you find rock candy in the street, don't eat it.
No. I thought that's how they made rock candy. That's because the weird, creepy reverend was picking it up. I was like, oh, that's how rock candy's made.
You don't know where
you get a blob and then you freeze it, and yeah.
Yeah, you don't know where it's been. No. the worst
Hello.
possible person ended up with the remnants of the Blob, like, because you just get this idea that he's going to be this dastardly guy that's going to release it
set
upon
up
the world.
Quite the sequel.
I thought he'd just like feed like sinners to it or something like that. Have it like in a little hole or something like a frog and toss it in there.
And then it would
I
end up-
am all for that sequel, and I will, if I get the budget, I will make the Blob sequel. Unfortunately, I can't because Del Cros has passed. But
yeah, when he first saw the Blob, he was just, "Oh, merciful God!" And I was like, "No, that is not God.
No.
That is the Blob. That is Blob Saget." That's what I named it. I named there's different. There's Blob Saget.
No.
And then the original
Daphne,
one that killed the
can you talk
dinosaurs.
now? Can we put Pake in a timeout?
The original one that killed the dinosaurs that they talked about was Blob Hoskins, and then the little one, the little one that he had at the end was Blob Marley, the new baby one.
I do.
All you're doing is putting Blob instead of Bob. That's not.
It's an easy but classic joke. Let me have it.
I've tried. You know what, Zoran? I try
Daphne.
on a weekly
Talk
basis.
to me, Daphne. Let's have a conversation.
Share
Daphne.
your pain with Zoran.
I've tried on a weekly basis,
and
nothing works.
Because he's all hyped up on Dum Dums. He's got a sugar rush.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Dum Dums in his mouth, trying to talk about things. No blue raspberry.
Oh yeah, no, this
Bob
is
Barker. You know,
God damn it!
It's punishment.
Sorry, Blob. Damn it!
It's really punishment that I am put through,
and I'm a man who enjoys quite a few puns. So
yeah.
My puns get sloppier than a Jell-O enema. Callbacks are fun too.
Not the visual. That visual's not fun.
No.
It's not fun for you.
Is it fun for you?
Also, Eddie, speaking of that again, what's with the headphones? Like, why are you wearing headphones in a movie theater? Because
he's cool.
Because he's cool. He
That's
doesn't
what
have them
you
turned
do.
on. No.
Do you not just wear headphones?
Just as
People wear these things all the time in today's
nothing's
society.
playing.
You're
Right.
always wearing earbuds, but he's just got his headphones on.
Isn't it counterintuitive if you're trying to enjoy a movie? But then when the Blob
Those
attacks
things
and they're
did
running,
not block out shit. The
No, they didn't.
those
the,
ones didn't do
foam
anything.
cover did nothing.
No.
I wore
And so-
those while mowing my lawn, and it
you
did
did.
nothing. Have
But
my
see, so I
compact
understand.
disc in my
Okay, so if he's
pocket,
making a statement, where,
skipping.
like, that's who he is the headphone guy.
Yeah.
But then the Blob attacks and they're running away before they get to the sewers. Does he have them on? No. So you abandon the bit when
the
facing
Blob ate them.
danger of your life.
The Blob. There's a deleted scene in which the Blob reaches for him and grabs the headphones, and it allows him to get away.
So he didn't abandon the bit because he should have at least found something to put. You know, it's just if you're going to be the headphone guy.
I'm making things up. This is not true.
Oh well. It's like, because then I was like, okay, that's who he is, and then he abandons the bit the first time his life is endangered. So, you know,
Really? Just trying to poke holes in this absolutely perfect film. How dare you, Pake? How dare you?
Don't get me started on what he put me through when we did 30 Days of Night.
Oh, man.
He shredded it real
You
well.
just shredded 30 Days a Night?
He did.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I probably have not seen that movie since it first came out, so I do not remember it. That's the cold all-night vampire movie, right?
Yes, Josh
Mhm.
Hartnett. Yeah, I
Oh,
loved
Josh.
it, and I still do. However, Pate destroyed it. I'm
I
waiting
thought
for
that
that
was,
one
it was an
movie.
interesting conversation then to have. It's fun. Sometimes it's very fun talking with someone the exact opposite. Right now, we're just doing a big love fest. We love this movie. Everything's great.
Yeah.
Oh, we're all really happy. Good vibes in the world. But then you find
nothing
something
could bring
being
it
like,
down. Like, not even me mentioning that the green screen was pretty terrible a couple
I
times. but
can't
it's
imagine
okay.
anyone not liking this movie, which is weird
No.
because it didn't get good reviews when it
No.
came out.
Mhm.
I think Leonard Maltin or someone was just like, no, this is an unnecessary thing and it's just gory and loud and cynical. And I'm like,
And
it's amazing. It's gory.
Amazing,
It's
dude.
loud. There's a cynicism of the 80s that is juxtaposed against the 50s values of the original.
Mhm.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, there's no reason to
That's
doubt
fine.
it at all.
Yeah,
Ahead
I'm
of
just
its
looking at
time.
like random notes that I've got now. Like, this has all been prophesied. And I was like, what? I must have missed that section of the Bible.
No, it's the reverence to talking about how this was all prophesized, the
Yeah.
coming of the blob and everything.
Yeah, he said that, and I was like, I must have missed that part.
How did you miss it? You wrote it down.
I missed it in the Bible. I don't remember the Bible. Is it?
Oh, okay.
First
I thought you said you
Babylonians?
missed
Is
him
that what
saying
we're-
that line. I thought you
No.
were just looking at your notes like, I don't understand what this line is. I
No,
wrote
no,
down
no.
about prophecy.
He says it was prophesied, and I'm like, I don't remember that part of the Bible. I missed
you
Yeah.
read every page of the Bible. You read every page of the Bible.
No.
Yeah, that's right. You started it. You started it in the beginning. They're not talking about the blob. I'm not.
You know
interested.
what?
There's no blob in here.
Zoran, from
What?
now on, when he goes off on a tangent, I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna call Zoran. I'm gonna get Zoran to come here.
If you ever need to just do a phone call on an episode and just like go like, all right, I gotta get sort of like,
We gotta tamper you
yeah,
down.
tell him
Fuck.
to shut up.
Here's a
That is
fun fact because
amazing.
I like little details sometimes. Do you want to know the list of pies available at the diner?
Really? You have them?
You
I
really?
do.
All right. What's the list
Fran
of pie? There
serves
better be
fried
a good.
apple pie, blueberry pie, lemon meringue pie, pumpkin pie, or pecan pie. There's no like payoff to the joke. It's just those are the list of pies on their menu.
God,
I saw it and I took a note.
But I'm waiting for the joke because
There's
usually
What do you want? Like blob pie, blobberry pie? What is the joke you want me to make? I don't
know.
I assumed that there was a reason you wrote that down.
No, there's
because you
literally
were
no
going to
reason
do a
other
joke
than-
instead of like, hey, did you want to know how many forks were on the table? 4.
There's no reason that
Great.
I had that note
Thanks
other
for that.
than I saw the list on the wall in the diner in the
And it's
kitchen and I
fun.
paused it and went, this might be a fun fact. I don't know. Makes you hungry for pie. You're like, oh, look, it's a reminder of all the
No,
kinds of pies
I'm never
that
hungry for
exist.
pie. Pie
What?
is my least favorite dessert.
Oh, it's so good. Pie is amazing.
There's
I'm a cake man. I'm more a cake man. Pie is it's fine. It's its thing. Pumpkin pie I can probably do. Just fruit pie just becomes so like syrupy sweet, like that fake thing. Maybe like a fresh fruit or something. But when it becomes this like gelatinous, it's like a blob. It's like a blob
I could get that
with
yeah.
fruit in it, and
Bring
it's
it full
just
circle.
never been a huge appealing thing to me for pie, which is difficult because I'm a big Supernatural fan and they eat a lot of pie in that show.
I love pie. Pumpkin pie, pecan pie, apple pie. It's all good. It's all
They
good. Key
have-
lime, cheesecake, because that's pie. Come on, let's
Cheesecake.
be real.
Cheesecake is what I will do. My wife actually baked a pie the other day, and I'm like, this tastes like cheesecake. Thank you, honey. I love you. I know there's a reason I married you, because this is a pie that tastes like cheesecake. It is perfect.
Just cheesecake is pie. It really is. It's a good medium. Then we'll go with there.
It's the crust. If it doesn't have the pie crust, then it's not pie. That's the main thing that I consider the cutoff. of a
Okay.
piece.
I never considered it that way.
Like that to me is the only thing that makes it pie is that you have that crust. You have specifically a pie crust, and that makes it a pie.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's a cake.
I like pie, but more of like the chocolate cream pie or something that's rich versus the fruity pies.
So at this point, we've given up on the movie.
No,
We're just talking about
it's like-
pie.
I'm looking through my notes and I'm like, okay,
This
what
is
else?
why you mentioned pie. So we would talk about all this
So
pie
we
stuff.
went for
To give me time to go through my notes, I knew I could hook you guys with a pie
can't
tangent.
possibly have anything more in these notes.
Yeah, no. See
There's
if there's
nothing
anything
more
else.
to say of this film.
There could be more blob
No.
puns that I will probably just skip over for your sake. Let's see. Yeah, I think we're good.
Thank you.
Are you
I
sure?
think- Poke it with a stick when in doubt. There's that. The subtitles only use the phrase slimy gurgling for the blob and band name calling it.
Slimy gurgling.
Mhm.
Okay.
Cool. I mean, I guess I will say the opening title credits, the font and coloring and everything looks very similar to Killer Clowns from Outer
Mhm.
Space in my memory, and that I think I
Yeah.
would get them confused. But the way I always recognized Killer Clowns coming on TV was just that laugh, that distant.
Yeah.
I need to revisit that movie.
Have
I
you
never
s-
finished it. I
you did?
started it. I never finished it.
How
See,
could you start it and not finish it? It's one of the greatest films ever created. The
Yeah.
most. It shares a lot of the same bit because it's inspired by B movie
Yeah.
50s, alien invasion monster movies, and it's just so goddamn clever.
and I am adding it to our list for this
Yeah.
season
I need to revisit
because
it
it
for
has
sure.
to be done.
Oh, it
It has to be
100%
done.
has to be done. Killer Clowns of Outer Space is
Yeah.
just, I can't wait for the game. I am absolutely honored that I got to see it with a live orchestra. That was one of the best experiences of my life, just watching the movie with a full live orchestra, because that score works really well with a full orchestra, not just
I
synths.
bet.
And also works
Yeah.
as synths as well. But, so good.
They do that at the Hollywood Bowl?
No, that was at the Montalban Theater
Okay.
in LA.
Because I know, the
Yes.
Bowl does. I've heard. I mean, I haven't been, but I've heard that they do a lot of those orchestra shows from time to
I
time.
did one for Jurassic Park. That was also very amazing. Getting to see that. And you might like, I don't know if you heard of Jurassic Park, Daphne. Have you heard of this film?
It's this little known, indie thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my jam.
Okay.
It's
Good.
been my
Concord
jam.
or
Or
strawberry?
Concord, yeah, Concord grape jelly or strawberry jam.
Strawberry.
Strawberry.
all
I
the way.
got grape.
Yeah, strawberry. Yeah, you can't see, but behind me, in addition to the Mosasaurus, is Rexy and Blue with Little Blue. They're on with the Mosasaurus.
I have a Slither meteorite right here.
Ooh,
Ooh!
With a little Slither guy coming right out of it there.
Oh my god!
Fun toys.
That is
Got my
awesome.
little kill count props up here. Just graboid from 5
yes.
through 7. All kinds of fun things just sitting around the computer right now. And behind me, if anyone has noticed. I've
Yeah,
got a
oh,
lot of
yeah.
Critters
All the fun
and X-Men, and that's where I have to keep all my display stuff slightly organized so it doesn't completely explode in the house. Although there is quite a bit in the house as well.
Yeah, I see the critter. Critters
Mhm.
is such.
And the stuff is
underrated.
down there. You can definitely see the stuff
Oh,
right down in the corner below the critter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and Blade,
Mm-hmm.
Puppet Master. That's another.
Oh yeah, there's
series.
a Howard the Duck VHS from Blockbuster back
Oh.
there next to the Freddy Krueger that my friend got me. He's like, I ordered this for you. I'm like, I need this. And then I have a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man up at the top, signed
I
by
see
Ernie
that.
Hudson,
Oh
Nice.
my
Uh,
gosh.
with a quote from Congo. He did a quote from Congo and signed the Ghostbusters thing. So it's a weird mashup of some of my favorite things.
Yeah,
check it out.
that mine is a hodgepodge basically of all sorts of things. X-Men.
Quote from Congo.
Mm-hmm.
Stop eating my. No.
Oh no, it's they're smart. They're too damn smart. But Stop Eating My Sesame Cake is also incredible. So I think I don't think there's anything more to say about the Blob.
There
unless
is-
Yeah, I
you
think
guys- we've moved on to Congo.
We have blobbed out.
I don't have anything Pig because Zoran did most of the notes that I had that were extra.
I was able to prepare. I did it. I did it good. I
Yay.
was so worried. But I'm glad. Yay.
Yeah, it's
a
so
fun
great. I really appreciate you coming on and talking with us.
time. Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely.
This is a blast.
I'm
You're
really
looking
lovely,
forward to it.
lovely humans. And my mic is just dropping now.
Your busy
Heavy.
schedule to come on and talk
That's-
fun movies with us.
I got to sneak down with my mic and
No.
say,
That
And of course,
happens
it's
thinking.
with my monopod because I'm a photographer. The
Yeah.
heavier the camera and the heavier the lens, the monopod needs to be like
There we go.
super sturdy.
Mhm.
You can tell when you're in trouble when you're photographing and it just starts going. And by the end of what you're shooting, you're down here like this trying to get it. Yeah,
Nice.
that happens. Yeah, they all have weight limits.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. It was a
Yeah.
blast. Appreciate you taking your time, and always the invitation is there if you ever want to come back anytime.
Well, now I am the call, so that when
Yeah.
Cheese can't
Yes.
deal with you anymore, I'm gonna be getting random.
is that
phone
going to be like a
calls
new bit on the
Thurs-
podcast? Yeah.
On
It is.
Thursdays, I'm gonna be getting a call of just like, can you just?
Can you just have a chat?
If the
with
puns
us
and the
for
jokes
5
have a
become
minutes?
too
chat
much,
with
you're like
me.
hitting the Zoran alert. We're
Yep.
I gotta hit the. I need an escape. Just launch
Yep.
into an escape pod and just like
Yeah.
It mutes Pake, and then we just have a conversation.
Yeah.
What'd you watch this week? Oh, okay. Yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. I love it. Oh my
man.
goodness. Finally.
You get some kind of respite from.
I
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yes. And yet I'm going to see him next week in person. So that's going to be.
Hanging out, doing our thing.
Yeah.
Going to Meow Wolf because
very
the new
cool.
one just it opens in Dallas tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we're
neat.
going on Tuesday, so it's gonna be fun.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
gonna
I
be
mean,
great.
if there's ever been a place that the human being should do mushrooms, that's the place to do
Did
it.
you and Megan ever end up getting over there? To
Oh,
that
we
one?
went. No, we went.
went.
We
Yeah.
didn't do mushrooms, but we were definitely we were there
Did
for a
get-
long time trying to
It's
figure
cool.
it out, and we couldn't get to one area that was like a little office where there was a group just researching and pulling out files and I'm like, I think I have a basic idea of the storyline, but I'm good to go wander into this room and play the
Yeah.
laser harp and then hang out in this treehouse for a minute.
Yeah. This
No,
new one in
it's
Dallas, another
fun.
random tangent, but it actually is like the multiverse connection to the other ones. I
Oh,
saw
great.
that like today or
Mhm.
yesterday, to where there is actually like Eternal Return, like the house from Santa Fe is there, and then there's like some other to where there's like extra pieces to the other ones that are going to be all hodgepodge together in this one. So I'm like, that's really
brilliant,
cool.
brilliant thing to be doing in today's society. People like the
Yeah.
puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and wrapping the story.
It's going to be so much fun.
Cool.
But yeah. All right. Well, before we let you go,
Please.
if there's
Please don't.
anything, yeah, we've held you prisoner long enough. No, but if you want to, anything you want to plug, anything you want to talk about, where people can find you, all of the good stuff.
Yes, you can pretty much find me everywhere. Low Carb Comedy, LOWCARBCOMEDY on the Twitter, on the Instagram. I'm not on Facebook anymore. It exists on Facebook, but I don't even go on there anymore. And I'm still doing stuff, still working for Dead Meat. Will not be doing any kill counts anytime soon, but am working on another season of They Talk. So that'll be coming. And then, I still write and things, which is always great when I'm able to help do punch up for kill counts. And people are like, oh, Zoran stuff. There's too many jokes. I don't like Zoran things. And I'd be like, you just laughed at a Zoran joke. You just commented on a Zoran joke that I wrote in there. But because James said it, cool. It's fine because James said it. But if Zoran said it in his weird little voice, then no, that wouldn't work for you. No, still working with the Dead Meat, and hopefully I'll be able to create some of my own stuff, at least one thing this year. We'll see if it works. You can hear my voice in the Blue Bunny ads if you get those on Hulu and Facebook and anything like that. If you hear the Blue Bunny touring through his little facility, that's me. I got a lot of people going, oh, that's right. The algorithm has found it, so they play in front of kill counts. So it's just like Zoran's voice in this thing, Zoran's voice in this thing. And if you ever hear this, there's a Domino's $7.99 campaign as well that is also my voice from time to time, where I just say $7.99, and I recorded that for 2 hours. And my lines are basically $7.99.
$7.99. Just give them all the rights.
It made no sense by the end of it at all. I'm just like, I am sure that you have enough to feed an algorithm to have me say any type of $7.99 ever, but I'm always happy to do it. If I am getting paid to do it, I will say $7.99 as many times as possible with a smile on my face. Very happy. But it's just fun to see the behind the scenes of how commercials are made, of just like, yeah, that's 3 lines I said. Did for 2 hours, just kept saying it. Yeah, very happy with that. So yeah, Low Carb Comedy, and my own YouTube channel, youtube.com/Low Carb Comedy or lowcarbcomedy.com. And I do have a Low Carb Comedy store as well if you want any shirts for Social Media Masochist or some of the other things that I've done on there. There is merch available that many people don't even know exists. So lowcarbcomedystore.com if you are a fan of Social Media Masochist. I made a lot of the different things and some fun stuff there. So yeah, I think that's all the things I got.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, we made it through, talked about all the stuff, and that is our feedback phone. So
Kirby Patentile Plus
yeah,
in Westgate?
It is
from Westgate?
Yes.
So I'm gonna have to answer that, see what people had to think about this movie in this episode. All right, we've got some feedback here, and as you can tell it's just me and Daphne here. Zoran, unfortunately, the StreamYard Blob showed up and just grabbed him and pulled him away, pulled him back. There was a little hole that his arm was sticking out of. So, I mean, we could pull his screen back up, but it's just a severed arm. And I don't want to put you guys through that. So we're just going to, tuck that aside and we'll carry it from here. Our thoughts go out to Zoran. Hopefully he'll reconform and reappear sometime and maybe we can get him back on the show. But, he's like a cat. He's got several lives. So I'm sure he'll be back. But the Blob got this one. Either that or, he's got that YouTube money. I'm sure he's got clones of himself. He's good.
Could be. I do love Pake that Zoran, he is going to allow me to call him to come in and put you in your place if you get too punny or jokey in the future. And I'm appreciative of this so much.
It's not going to stop me. That's all I do. Anyway, like I said, we do have some feedback this week. Thanks everybody for leaving those out. We have the first one I'll let you take, but it comes from YouTube. That's right. We also do have a YouTube channel for those of you who don't remember that. We've mentioned it every week. I think Daphne kind of throws it in there, but yeah, you always check Run for Your Lives on YouTube and leave us comments there because those are fun.
Oh yeah. So this comment is actually about An American Werewolf in London, which we covered not too long ago. Rob D says, one of the greatest horror films ever made. An American Werewolf in London is an absolute classic. The werewolf transformation is still unbeaten to this day.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one. And we have a little follow-up on that top 5 things that scared us as kids from last week from Wendy. Because I remember Wendy mentioned the Blob. Now we're doing the Blob. We've done we'll have a little bit more Blob-related feedback from her in a little bit. But she also wanted to give a little feedback on that top 5 episode, saying, love this episode, and I really like the compilations. So, good. It seems from feedback and other things that people really enjoyed that episode last week. So, we may be sprinkling more of those kind of style episodes in from time to time because they're fun and easy for us to do too. So it's good.
They really are. I enjoyed it. And I've already been trying to brainstorm some others that we could do.
Yeah.
So maybe in the future we'll have some more. We did get some feedback on the Blob. First one comes from Levi, who says, I've only watched this movie once, and it is forever seared into my goddamn brain. Sucked into a sink, having the balls to kill kids, killing the hero in the first 20 minutes. It's a damn masterclass in tight-spaced, well-paced horror. I fucking love it. Looks like I need to do the rewatch I have dreaded for the last 20 years. Give Zoki my love.
Of course, Levi will give Zoran some love if he... Once he regenerates or the clone appears, we'll let him know. But good to hear from you. And for those who remember, Levi was a special guest on our Trimmers Fest episode. So it's good to hear from them. And yeah, hopefully they'll call in some more or write in. And the next one comes from Sean, who says, nice. This is the very first horror novel I'd ever read as a kid, which kickstarted many more. I never saw the movie until maybe 10 years ago. I'm sure it was great back in the 80s. I think it should be prime for a remake.
Well, I don't know about that, Pake. I'm not sure about the whole remake thing.
I don't know. Me and Zoran were talking about it earlier before he got acid melted. And I think we were saying that, yeah, we totally would be cool with seeing what happens.
Yeah, but remakes are tricky.
Yeah. Certain movies, no. But this one, I think it's due. I can agree with that.
Okay. So Wendy wrote in about this movie. She said, as you know, I have a complicated relationship with the Blob. My husband saw this in the theater and convinced me to watch it on VCR. It was cheesy enough and different enough that I could watch it. So many classic monster movie tropes in this. I thought it was great. Kevin Dillon was underrated. Totally agree.
Yeah. And this last one here, to keep the big old love fest for the Blob going, Harrison says it definitely lacked the charm of the original. Wait, oh.
Thank you, Harrison.
Uh-huh.
I actually saw Harrison.
Can't be winners for
last
everyone,
weekend.
I guess.
Yeah, I saw Harrison last weekend.
Yeah.
I was on a little trip. Well, if you would like to submit feedback, we love feedback and would love for you to submit it. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Run for Your Lives Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at RFYL Podcast. You can email us at runforyourlivespodcast@gmail.com. And if you are enjoying the show, tell your friends. We are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and pretty much all other podcast players, including YouTube. Go to runforyourlivespodcast.com for all the links you'll ever need, and give us a review on Apple Podcasts, as that's the best way to share the love and get us out there even more. We really appreciate it.
We absolutely do appreciate it very much. And speaking of sharing the love, of course, got to give a shout out to things going on in the podcast universe around us. My other podcast, Strange Indeed. Me and Rima still running through this new season of Black Mirror. Episode 4, Maisie Day, we just did this week and is out. I don't want to give much away on that episode, but it's very fitting that we covered that around this time too. It was a really great episode. So yeah, if you're a fan of Black Mirror, definitely check out Strange Indeed with me and Rima over there. We only have one episode left this season, and then after that, we don't know what we're doing yet, but stay tuned. We'll let you know. I'm sure I will keep everyone in the know as soon as we decide. We might take a little break for a little bit, figure out what we want to work on next. But other great podcastica stuff going on. Of course, the cast of us covering The Walking Dead, Dead City. The episode 4 episode is up right now. Ben running that with guest hosts Rebecca and Kara. So you can check that out. They talk episode 4 of Dead City. And then Ben. It's all Ben. Everything is Ben this week. Besides Dead City. Then also, as you know, he has his Wilhelm podcast and his Revisited podcast. And he actually released the same episode on both feeds. I think he's going to move it just to Wilhelm officially when he does more of these if he wants to. But it's like a movie swap episode. Swap cast kind of thing where him and his Revisited host, Kristen, give each other homework on movies that they have not seen. And they have to watch them, come back, and talk about them. And so for this kind of first test run of that, they covered the new Dune movie, the Timothée Chalamet Dune, and Top Gun Maverick. So definitely check that out. Be forewarned, there's some spoilers for other newer movies and stuff that are in that episode, because they just love to sit there and nerd out about movies, as do we do. So I get it.
Yes, we absolutely do.
So yeah, so definitely check that out. And then I'm sure they will be back with some more Lost episodes very soon as well. So yeah, check out Revisited and Wilhelm for that, both feeds. And then I think that one's going to be Wilhelm centric eventually. But yeah, and then other than that, if you are watching Secret Invasion over on Disney Plus, which penultimate episode has aired, and you can catch some coverage of that over on TV Podcast Industries. Definitely be sure to check that out. And then Panels to Pixels has been covering Secret Invasion as well. I'm ready for that finale. I'm excited to see where this goes. It's going to be wild. I just know. Samuel L. Jackson has been killing it. It's been really good. So if you're a fan of Marvel and Disney Plus, go check those out as well. But other than that, you can come right back here for Run for Your Lives next week. We won't have the video thing going on. This was a special occasion for this week.
It was.
Back to original format next week. But yeah, we've got a fun one to talk about. What are we doing next week, Daphne?
Well, I've decided to let you tell us what we're talking about next week, Pake.
I don't have much for you other than Scary Man in the Hat go. Rrr.
Okay, I think that's good enough. So we're not going to tell you what we're talking about. Actually, no, I'm kidding. So we are going to discuss The Babadook. It
Yeah.
is a Jennifer Kent movie. She based it off a short film that she did in 2005 called Monster. This was a really great in-depth discussion
Yeah.
for us. I love when we get to do these episodes.
Yeah, if you really loved all the goofy, punny, silly nonsense that this episode was, then you'll have different feelings about the Babadook episode. Hopefully you'll still really love it, but it's definitely not this. We actually have some real serious conversations about mental health and grief and depression and all of that stuff. So we get serious around here sometimes too, you know.
We do. And I know it's hard for you to believe that Pake gets serious, but if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know that he does.
Yeah.
And so this is one of those times that we, the jokes are fewer and the discussion is really good. I enjoyed this one. It was great to get to talk about it. But talking, you mentioned next week's episode does not have video. What do you guys think about the video we released? Let us know what you think of this. This was something new and different. We thought we would try because we had a special guest on. It's not something that we've really ever done much of ever.
Yeah.
So we're really curious what you guys think about it. So please let us know. I gave you all the information on how you can get in touch with us. So please do. And with that, we've reached the end of our episode. Thanks, everyone, for listening. I'm Daphne.
And I'm Pake.
And if you have to run, you better run for your lives.
Bye-bye.